Ladies and gentlemen, I am very delighted to welcome one of my favorite people in the world, the CEO of Mayo Minerals, Mr. Warren Rampton. Mr. Warren Rampton is here. Warren, how are you today?
I'm feeling great today. Yeah, it's a wonderful day, and I'm quite happy to be talking to you.
I am very delighted to talk to you. I've been thinking about having this brief session with you because the investors are asking about your recent big visit to that gigantic meeting you went to. I want to hear about that. So, why don't we start talking about your company?
Before we get to the meeting, then Mayo Lake Minerals it's a publicly traded company on the Canadian Stock Exchange. And we are lucky to have many years ago, actually, we staked most of our ground in the Mayo area, I'd say the central Yukon. It's been a hot spot for both silver and gold mining and exploration in the past. And now it's become a very, very hot spot with the discoveries and developments that are undergoing at Banyan Gold and Sitka Gold. And plus, of course, we have Hecla, which is one of the biggest silver producers, I think, in the United States, and of course they're in Canada too. And we're close to all these people. And now, with all these new discoveries, it's made us very attractive. We have three properties right in tight with these three companies. One of them is a gold property. And that's what all these properties I'm talking about, companies I'm talking about, they're in what's called the Tombstone Gold Belt. And it's been the subject of a lot of recent discoveries, including Snowline's discovery. And I think they're a $3 billion cap company now. We have this one pure gold property, and then we have another property, which is a silver property, and it's in tight with where Hecla Mining is. And it's got all these properties of excellent potential. We can sometime go into this in more detail. And then we have a third property, which is looking like it's a combination gold base metal. We're well located, and our exploration to date has indicated that these properties have a lot of potential. I know our gold property, we have a large area within it we call the Anderson Gold Trend, and it has making itself alone. We've got so many drill targets there that if we hit on two or three of them, it's a gold mining camp in itself. And the silver property we have indications that there's up to, I think it's 3,000 grams per ton of silver there, which I would say would be approximately 3,000 would be close to 100 ounces per ton. And when you multiply that plus what silver's at, it's good paying rock.
That is for sure. I'm so happy to hear. So, now we got three giants next to each other,
Yeah,
your neighbors. Further
yeah,
down, you got the biggest of all, a $3 to $4 billion property,
yeah,
recent discovery that put the whole area onto the map of the
yeah,
world.
yeah, that's for
So,
sure.
yeah, so now we got Hecla, biggest silver producer in North America. Then we got Sitka and Vanian.
That's right. Yes. Sitka's
Three,
already got 5 million ounces that they've measured out or they've had an independent geologist look at.
yeah.
And Banyan has 8 million ounces plus. And both these companies are going to end up with a lot more million ounces of gold than what I'm saying. And the company I was talking about, which is the Snowline, which is quite a ways from us, but over to the east in exactly the same belt, and it has 8 million ounces, and it's developed to the stage where I think it's looking for financing for developing its mine.
That is going to be 20, 30 years project. They're going to be gold and gold,
Yeah,
lot of gold there.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm very happy that you are a lucky man to have this property
yeah,
wedged between these giants right
yeah.
there. So now, why don't you please tell the audience they wanted to hear about your recent meeting. You attended the big conference. That's a gigantic conference. I wanted to hear firsthand, and I want to share with this what you learned and what
Yeah,
you saw, because this was the giant conference after the surge in price. We never saw the price jump like
yeah,
this, and
yeah,
this was the first after the
yeah,
gigantic jump. So I want to
yeah,
hear your
yeah.
thoughts and what you felt and how you saw what you saw there.
Yeah, the Prospector and Developers Conference in Toronto is probably I would say, if not the biggest, one of the biggest. No, it's probably the biggest mining and exploration conference in the world. I remember 40, 50 years ago, it was local Canadian, some Americans, but now it's international. And actually, this year they had an all-time record attendance of just over 30,000. So you can see even the city of Toronto appreciates this because it brings a lot of dollars into the hospitality industry and so forth and rentals. And I would say that the mood was very upbeat. I've never seen the floors where the companies have their booths.
Yeah.
And of course, I would say about a half of it or two-thirds of it is to do with companies, exploration companies, trading tips, and people can come and see them and everything. And the service industry, like there's all the people that do the geophysics for us, the geochemistry, the drilling. It's a big exhibition for them. And it gives us an excellent opportunity to visit back and forth and see whose agenda can fit whose agenda and at what price. So that's another opportunity. And I am pleased to say that again, the Yukon was the focus of a lot of discussions there.
That
Uh,
obviously,
uh,
naturally, I think that has to be a major topic for people because of the Eastern Line and the two big properties, three actually,
yeah, yeah,
Hecla and the Sitka and Banyan,
yeah, yeah,
and those are your
yeah.
near neighbors.
Yeah. And what happens at this on the floor of where all the companies are, they have what's called a core shack. Some of the companies would bring out their core and they're going to show their best core, of course.
Yeah,
Why not? And so that people, the other geologists and anybody walking by can see what's going to be making all the money.
yeah,
And I would say, I know Banyan was there showing their core. I saw Tara Christie there. She's the CEO of Banyan, and Sitka was there, and some of the companies from down south of Dawson City, where we have another big gold camp, they were there. And so there was always a lot of interest in what they were exhibiting there.
yeah.
And so I would say that the Yukon companies made a good representation in the core shack. And that's where everybody usually visits that. It's so big these days that I wonder what somebody would walk in there looking for an investment, and they wouldn't know where to start. But I would say that most people go to the core shack because the companies that are showing core generally are developed and moving along.
That is very interesting point. So now companies like yours who are neighbors and adjacent to them, these people naturally will inquire about who is next to them. So are they up for grab or are they looking for financing? This is what the conference is all about, right?
Yeah, like Banyan, it's already well financed for this year and maybe ahead. They've got to the point, yes, they're out there still doing a lot of drilling, but they're starting to do metallurgical work and all that sort of stuff. Sitka Sitka, it had quite a few properties down in Nevada and Arizona, and it's actually spinning them off because with everything focused on their Yukon property, they're not getting true value for these other properties, which are excellent properties too. And I didn't see Hecla there, but they must have been there. They didn't have anything at the core shack, but now Hecla, of course, is a producing mine,
Yeah,
and they don't really have to do many financing anymore,
that is
especially
true.
with the price of silver.
Yeah.
And ourselves, of course, and a lot of the juniors, of course, we go there to talk to people about financing and stuff. We're planning a very large program this summer, drilling and trenching. And we're hoping to raise probably to cover everything, I would say between 2 and 2.5 million. That's Canadian. That's cheap money for you guys.
Yes, you got that right. Let's repeat that. That's a very important point. So you're looking to raise about $2 million, say, for
Yeah,
example,
yeah.
$2 million, and you'll be using that money for what?
Well, we're hoping to complete 2,000 meters of drilling, mainly on what we call the Anderson Gold Trend. We
Yes.
just had a press release out on one of our prospects. We have about 8 prospects within this trend. And one of our prospects, which we did some soils on just very late in the fall, we managed to squeeze it in, and the results were very good, excellent. And so we'll probably, like I say, there's 8 prospects there. And we hope with 2,000 meters to get around to testing at least, I would say, three or four of them. And of course, we're going to pick the best ones to do there. Now, we're also going to be doing a lot of trenching over on our silver property, possibly up to 1,000 meters of trenching. Now, the reason we're doing trenching instead of drilling is that we already know from the rocks we've picked up on the surface along this one anomaly as marked by soils and stuff, where we're talking about 4,000 yeah, 4,000 grams per ton. And again, that's well over 100 ounces. We know the rock's there, but when we were drilling, we were having a hard time recovering core. Get what we knew was a silver zone, but we couldn't recover the core. Now, the best way to do this is to trench the surface, clean it all off, and then saw a little trench in it, take those samples, and I'm absolutely sure that we will get some very high grade silver. That's what's characteristic of the Keno mining camp is high grade silver. I know Metallic, I was just reading something from Metallic Mines, which has a large piece of property that they're doing exploration for silver on. They were saying typically we're looking for veins that vary anywhere in width from, let's say, a half a meter to up to 5 meters. So if you get that, which is even averaging as low as 300 grams, which is 10 ounces. So 10 ounces times $80, that's US. That's
Yes.
240 $240 per ton, and that's very profitable rock. And so that's what we're looking for there. And we also know that it has characteristics of typical of the Keno Hill mining.
That is wonderful. Now, I just wanted to say this that this is what I wanted to hear from you. Major things you covered today is your meeting with the people, folks over there, and how was the atmosphere, bullish atmosphere, obviously, and you briefly covered the properties and what you want to do with the summer program. Those
Yeah.
three things I picked up, and now I just wanted to touch briefly myself to make aware of this company. This is a humongous company sitting in the greatest neighborhood you can pick. And what, $5-6 million valuation? It's a laughable valuation from my perspective,
Yeah.
my point of view. I don't know. You know better than anybody else. So I want folks to check this. The ticker symbol,
It's MLKM,
M. Yes.
Mayo Lake Minerals. So it's
K.
MLKM.
Yeah, it's a MLKM.
Yeah,
MLKM. You can't
yeah,
go wrong with that. MLKM is the ticker symbol on CSE. Folks,
yes,
check it out. It's trading about 5-6 cent range.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you want to pick this thing up. And before you do that, of course, you want to consult and read
yeah.
about and learn about. This man is not an ordinary man. He's a very special guy. He knows what he's talking about because he is a doctor in the right field. He's a
Rock
boot.
doctor. I'm a
Yeah,
rock
that's
doctor.
yeah. That's how I'm saying. A doctor in the right field, where you
Yes,
want to be associated with the land, with the mine, and the minerals. This is a mineral doctor. So he is the CEO running this great company. I'm very happy to get to know him, and I wanted to invite you for the next conversation we're going to have. So we want to talk a little more detail about each property so investors will understand from your
Hmm.
perspective why you're so bullish on properties
Yeah.
you have.
Yes.
Is that sounds great to you?
That's right. And
Okay.
actually, right now, we're just finishing off a small offering that's just carrying us through the spring here.
Yeah.
I think the stock is that we're offering at quite a premium, quite a low price. It's 5 cents,
Yeah.
and that's 5 cents Canadian, and it's hardly worth a penny American.
That is true.
And but as soon as we'll be closing that up probably within the next 2 weeks, hopefully. And then as we move into April, we're going to be going after the $2 million. We've been talking to a few brokers about it and so
that is
forth. So,
wonderful. I'm glad to
but
hear
it
that.
will be at a higher price, of course,
Of
than the
course, we
five
want
cents.
that. I know that this stock is underpriced.
Yeah,
We look at the $80 silver and
yeah,
5,000 and change for
yeah,
gold. You got to be just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
absolutely out of your mind to think
yeah,
about this 5 cent stock. Five
yeah,
cent Canadian, my
yeah,
friends.
yeah.
Go and check it out. MLKM, milk, MLKM. You cannot go wrong
That's
with
right. MLKM.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
It's a
got
tongue twister in a way, but
yeah, no, because of the great man we have, MLK, for Americans to remember
yeah,
MLK,
yeah.
Martin Luther King. We remember with
Oh,
MLK. So MLK, so we
yeah,
cannot go wrong with that. Add
yeah,
milk to it. MLKM.
yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Thank you so much. It is always good to talk to you. I'm glad that you had the opportunity to come take your time to speak to us, and I'm very delighted to have you today. And I'm looking forward to talk to you more in the next week or so.
that's good. That's good. We'll be
Thank you
looking
so much.
forward to that.
I appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you too.